Take two, good afternoon. I don't know what's wrong. There's no retrograde, I'm sure there isn't, but I just cannot seem to get the words out linear so that they're understandable. But if you're still here, welcome in. Hello, I do hope you're well. Today, guys and gals, I want to talk about growth and how you recognise when you've elevated to a higher level of healing, and the energy change and shift, and how you know it's permanent. It's not just a good day. Healing isn't linear. We can go days, weeks, months, sometimes even in some extreme cases years, thinking we're good, we're healed. Then we're encountered and reminded of that incident or that energy again, and we find ourselves right back to where we are. About 6 or 7 years ago, I went for very intensive psychotherapy, EMDR therapy. It's called eye movement desensitization reprogramming. It's a gobful, isn't it? But nevertheless, I went. Some of you may know, those of you that know me personally, and those of you that may have watched my previous videos, know that I am in fact medically, officially diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. A lot of people like to trot out the PTSD card when they're either trying to gain sympathy, manipulate a situation, or try and excuse their shitty behaviour. Like narcissism or narcissist, it's a word that's bandied about and overused and misused and misinterpreted an awful lot. But I have a bona fide badge of being a nut job, so there you are. No disrespect, it is a very, very real illness. It's one that we battle with daily. It's one that is never going to go away, but we are given the talk. Some of us are lucky enough. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't get the support that they should rightly have, but some of us, the lucky ones of us, have been given the right tools and the right support in able to manage our illness. It's part of us. It's like your light and your dark. You can't fight either. It's part of you. You need to manage it properly. Complex PTSD is an accumulation of events, and when you're 48 years old, you can accumulate quite a box set. When I first started the therapy, you have to revisit the trauma, and it was quite a shock to me because I tried to hide it for so long, and it was carnage. I'll be honest. It was snottiness, hyperventilating, not being able to breathe, not being able to see, not being able to feel. It was complete, full-blown fight and flight. It was terrifying. But what the therapist did, and he was very, very, very good at what he did, was he kept revisiting the situation, and we were revisiting the situation, we were unpicking, unpacking it, analysing our role in that situation, what we could and couldn't do. And the F word, I'm about to say it, we were forgiving ourselves for not knowing at the time, for example, being a child, what have you. Or just being hoodwinked by clever energy. It's not anyone specific, you know, it's just how big is the spectrum. And as I noticed, I would think I was supposed to have 12 sessions over 3 months. I ended up 10 months down the line with special dispensation. Such was my distress. It was quite deep-seated, and I think 40 years of trauma is definitely a big balance sheet to be getting on with. But I did notice that as we were going through the sessions, that when we revisited those incidences, the pain become less. And by the time we got to the end, instead of being in full-blown panic mode and in it, I was merely spectating. I was able to remember the incident, process it, accept it. I can't say we understand everything in this life, because we don't, and I think sometimes we're just not meant to understand. But I could look at it and there was no gas in it. Does that make sense? I could look at it without emotion. I could accept it, explain it, and identify it, but there was no trauma attached to it. There was no emotion. It was like it was happening. It had happened to someone else. It was an event I recalled. Anyway, almost 5 minutes in, I'm going to get to my point. It's been no secret recently, I've been on an extraordinarily deep path to healing. I've spoken a lot about various energies, and it's not necessarily even recent energies. It's like I've said in various videos, at 48 years old, you accumulate quite an encyclopedia of incidents, really, I think is the fairest, most respectful thing to call them. And with experience comes knowledge most of the time. A lot of people think they're healed when they're going through a breakup or a separation. They meet a new energy, they're distracted, and they fall head over heels in love, honeymoon, fluffy candy floss period with that new energy, and they think they're over the other one. When this subsequent one crashes and burns, they find they're right back where they are, which means they weren't healed. They weren't leveled. Their mindset wasn't different. They've gone in with the same mindset. So basically what's happened is you've just traded faces for the same energy. A lot of people say my mojo's coming back when they've met someone new, or they're being distracted. But one thing I've understood this week was I said exactly the same thing to one of my older children yesterday. I said, you know what, I can really feel my mojo coming back. But there's no new energies. There's no distractions, so to speak, apart from that monster garden of mine. And the most beautiful dog in the world that absolutely adores me. But that's a complete romance right there, the canine romance I never thought I'd saw come in. 47 years on this planet without a dog, first dog ever. Totally puppy love. But anyway, it's when you understand that you're creating your own mojo and sparkle from you and wholly you. And there's nothing in the pipeline. There's nothing ahead of you that you can see. There's no plans, so to speak, to distract yourself or enamor yourself with any other energy. There's nothing. You are just being. You are just living. You are just being you. What you're doing is you're unpicking and you're unpacking. And sometimes we get intrusive thoughts about old jobs 20 years ago. I know certainly I have had recently jobs about when I worked in the city. And some of the abhorrent things that people did in order to get, well, what they saw as get ahead. Very career driven, very competitive market. And when you're not necessarily competitive in that respect, it can be quite savage, especially when you're naturally quite good at what you are. People get upset with that. And then with your lack of competitiveness, it seems to annoy them even more. But that's just a past recollection. But when you think about what past energies, and I mean that like career, family, old romantic people, it can be anyone, friends, people you thought were friends, you think about it, but when you recollect it, you're no longer traumatized by it. You don't have an emotion about it either way. You can just recall it, but it's when you go back into the memory and you relive the memory and you think, okay, what could I have done better there? What should I have done better? What shouldn't I have done? And if this flies by me again, how will I react? But it's when you can do it without emotion, without ill will intent, without animosity, without upset, without sadness, without hankering to go back. You just literally, like the EMDR therapy, you're just a spectator. You're recalling it, you're understanding it, and you're accepting it for what it is. You're letting it go. It's just part of the encyclopedia of your life. It happened in, all my, when people say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I'm still on the fence about that one. I think sometimes it can really fuck you up. But you have to do the work. Whichever way it's presented to you from the universe, you must do the work. And of late, I've noticed that I feel about all things like that, past things, past energies, recent events, there's a shift, there's a change. Now, coincidentally, tomorrow is the full moon, the full worm moon, and it's also Saturn goes direct into Pisces tomorrow for the first time in 30 years, and it's no mistake. It's no mistake really, I don't think, and I don't think it's any coincidence that this hasn't happened for 30 years. Sorry, someone's just driven by. I know. I just parked up outside to school, and the last 30 years of my life have been a bit of a circus, if I'm honest. There's been some amazing moments, some amazing things happen, some absolutely outer worldly experiences that I will treasure forever and ever, but so I'd really rather leave where they are. And I think you have to take the rough with the smooth, accept that everything's happened, choose how you react to it, grow from it, understand it, put it down to experience, and just move on. Understand and celebrate you completely, and just accept life as it is, and be excited by the unknown, be excited by the unpredictable, be excited by triple death tower and devil energies in tarot cards. Be excited by stuff like that, because it moves the dust. It gets you shifting, doesn't it? So I just want to say that sometimes you understand the shift in energy, and you understand that it really is different. That if you are now put back into a situation that you've previously experienced, you can absolutely guarantee you're going to feel differently about it, and your recovery is going to be different about it. And then that's when the absence of fear comes in, and the true faith and understanding of your own strength comes in. Your faith in yourself, the faith in the universe, your willingness and bravery to surrender to what is, thus gaining more control, ironically enough. But I just wanted to say, from a positive note, a lot of people say, oh, it's beautiful on the other side. Then they try it all off because they look at all these flashy memes online, you know, then they break up with their significant other, and that's it, they're back down in the depths of despair again, you know. Well, then you didn't come out to the other side last time, did you? You just got distracted by this new energy. So when you know you're on and you're moving, but you've no desire to go seeking for anything like that, or, you know, to try and revisit any of it, I think you just understand it, accept it, move on, and celebrate yourself and your life, and get excited for what is or isn't to come. That's growth, definitely growth. So I just want to communicate that, really, and I hope some of it's made sense. But I think it's making peace with yourself, with your past, and it's building a really good foundation that your future self is going to be really, really, really proud of. And that can only be a good thing, right? Good. Right. Guys, on that note, I'm going to bugger off, play this back, post onto YouTube. And please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you for gifting me your time. Thank you to my new subscribers. Awesome messages that I get coming through from those in my community that know me and are excellent to me consistently, and the feeling is definitely mutual. So thank you, guys, gals, everybody. Please look after yourself, please be good, cut yourself some slack. I've just seen 12:12. Don't beat yourself up on everything. Don't be an emotional punch bag for anyone. Stand your ground, and if in doubt, get into your cocoon and reevaluate. Take as much time. There's no time limit. It's not linear. This is all about you. So look after yourself, love yourself, celebrate yourself, and I'll see your good self soon. Take care, guys. See ya.